It's a great pleasure to welcome to What's Next Menno Parsons, who's the founder and CEO of Master Power Technologies. Now, Menno is the visionary founder of Master Power Technologies. They've been around since 1999, and they're a leading provider of critical power and turnkey data center solutions across Africa. And under his leadership, the company has extended their footprint to more than 16 countries. They've completed more than 150 cutting-edge data center projects, and Master Power Technologies has earned 4 Frost & Sullivan Data Center Leadership Awards, reflecting its excellence in the market. That's quite an accolade there, Menno, and you've been in the business for a long, long time. Firstly, welcome to you. How are you doing?
Great, very good. Thank you, Aki. It's a privilege to be on your show.
Listen, what inspired you to start Master Power Technologies all the way back in 1999? And how's your vision changed over the last 25 years? Because I would imagine data centers 25 years versus today, they're completely different beasts.
Yes, yeah. Well, I worked for Siemens. I was an electrical engineer there, and in critical power systems and in UPS departments and so on. And being in the business, being in critical power, obviously the evolution of data infrastructure and data systems. Those days, data centers were basically computer rooms, and not near as critical as what they need to be and what they are in our lives now. And the whole data society is very different from what it was 20, 30 years ago. And our evolution in data centers just happened as we were part of the whole growth in power systems. And obviously, data centers have changed. They're a big game at the moment, and our AI's become around, and social media, and what data systems are in our lives now. Everybody loves data centers or data,
Interesting hearing you reflect, and obviously AI is just a big aspect of business today, and I'm sure AI, in a limited manner, was around 25 years ago, but today, it's the big game, and it's consuming massive amounts of energy in your data centers. Now, you've got 150 data center projects completed in Africa. What would you say are the key factors that have contributed to MPT's success on the continent? Because, 150 data center projects is a significant number across the continent.
Yes, like we spoke a little bit earlier, data centers were either like switching stations in telecom environments and processing data, doing switching, doing all that type of thing. Ultimately, still a data center. So involved in a lot of telco startups, the journey with a lot of the networks throughout Africa, Middle East, getting them off the ground, building their main switching centers, mobile switching centers. And from there, they evolved into more serious data centers because the switching of the data was in those environments, for example. And since then, data centers evolved into more than that in Africa. Reasonably short supply from a data center point of view, building central data centers that host and colo and enterprise type facilities that people don't have connectivity in Africa properly from a fiber network infrastructure, and the telcos did have that, for example. So we built a lot of MSCs and that type of thing, and then the data centers obviously evolved from that. Our business being originally in critical power has always been a big problem in Africa, and it remains a big problem. And you find a lot of the Europe, American, West side, or the big economies around us didn't have the same challenges we have had in Africa, for example. And I think we've built up a know-how how to build these things more reliably and to strengthen them and reinforce the data centers to have the right infrastructure. And then our business evolved from that. So having a strong engineering team in South Africa and a strong presence, and having the ability to understand the countries in Africa and live them and be part of Africa, and to be able to roll out these things in Africa is a big challenge. And I think us as Africans grab that challenge and love the experience going out into the different spaces. And that's great to be able to take a South African company and challenge the big Europeans and the other guys and show our colors of what we're really made of.
Yeah. I mean, Menno, we really understand that infrastructure, right? I mean, we understand, the territory, et cetera, et cetera. And you were talking about some of the challenges. And I wanted to ask you about the designing and the building and the operational aspects in these regions. How does it differ from other parts of the world? I mean, you touched on electricity. Every person you talked about data centers in Africa, they say that electricity is the big challenge. Can you just expand on all of that?
Yeah. So, I mean, my background's an engineer, so it wasn't purely business. It's the livelihood of our business was UPS systems and backup systems, generators, all the things that come with power. And in Africa, like that's very bad. And then networks to monitor these things. And our engineering team, we've got an R&D center here, and we excited about leading development as well. So we go into Europe, we go into the States, we see what's there. And then we also don't just necessarily just use what's there. We develop our own need and requirements and kit that works here properly and systems that monitor, systems that integrate properly and putting it out there in Africa. The power systems that you use in Europe and in the States don't fit our requirements because we have a lot of off time, ons and offs and transients that are bad and all those type of things. And some monitoring systems aren't designed to suit our requirements properly. So we got a team that sat and developed the right solutions and how to manage these bad power requirements and how to change over properly and create stable environments and all that. And I think we led that edge quite a bit for a few years in Africa, and our teams got to know how to work in the data center environment, how to build the whole data center, how to fit cooling systems that suit our environment, and what actually works in our environment, and not having to wait for systems that are designed in Europe. And if you've got something that goes wrong, get a specific spare that let's say you were in Germany, for example, and there's a component that fails and it's in England, it gets there the next day. We've got customs challenges. We've got, there's a lot of other social challenges in Africa. And if something goes wrong, we must be able to fix it quickly and respond quickly and have the components quickly and be able to support our customers with the edge they need. And I think our team's done that properly. We're present in a lot of the countries. We've got guys on the ground over there. And if we don't have guys on the ground where we build data centers, we put them there. And it's a nice story where we in Africa and we for Africa. I like that saying because we literally create jobs for Africans and we develop Africans. So if we go into a country, for example, Mozambique or Ethiopia, Tanzania, wherever we go, I like to develop it with our expert team here and grow a team in country and make them the experts and so that we don't go and intrude in other people's space. We build things with them and we make a social circle that really works for Africa. I hate going into Africa and being this know-it-all team and you then leave and you don't really gel within the country, for example. It's nice to be part of a journey where you make a difference locally, and build things locally and be part of it locally. When you travel up to Nigeria or you go to Mozambique or you go to those countries and people accept you and love you as part of the team and part of the development of their journey. And I think that's a big privilege of being in Africa and being African, doing stuff in Africa. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating listening to you talking there. And it sounds like, Menno, many other, continents are learning on how we do things here and apply it there. I mean, just the cooling side, for example, the learnings here that we can disperse. And I guess that it's really important that you've got that research and development. that you use in driving innovation and
Yeah,
maintaining that competitive edge in this space. And you guys are certainly breaking ground and, introducing new innovation when it comes to data centers.
yeah. So, I mean, our R&D department, we've started many years ago, and people don't really develop a lot in South Africa in our space, for example. You'd go to Europe and the States, and what they've got there, you just latch onto an agency and sell an agency. But I've got a meeting with Prof. Rents on Friday, for example, with his engineering team, and we sponsor some of those students, and we sponsor some students in various other universities, and we bring them into our R&D team. And you study all these things, but you never get a chance to really have an R&D department, for example, because we're just reselling tech. We should actually be developing our own tech, developing our own identity in SA and in Africa, and making our own mark in our space, for example. For sure, there's definitely stuff that we buy and support, but it's important to be authentic and real and be smart at what we do and use our engineers. Don't just send them to learn somewhere else, to create a little ecosystem with R&D and development and make our place proud that we're not just resellers, that we do develop ourselves. Yeah. And having that smart tech and that smart teams inspiring in our own business. So, I mean, even the R&D team, having them, they inspire other teams. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's incredible, like every region, I guess the more people you have innovating, the bigger the ideas that come out and the more stuff that you can apply, which is absolutely amazing. When you look at yourselves and your organization, I mean, it's incredible to think that you guys have had such incredible success across the continent. I mean, it's amazing. And you look at the growth of data centers globally. Talk to me about Master Power Technologies. Are you guys looking at extending your reach beyond Africa, moving into other markets around the world? Is it something that's on your radar?
Why do you say that? Yeah. So, I mean, having the R&D department and being involved with the data centers the way we have and certain of the edge components, you find people from all over the world coming in and taking our piece of the pie and African work, for example. There's no reason why we as Africans can't be in other parts of the world and lead some of those spaces. So we've got our BMS and monitoring solutions. We've got some nice power UPS stuff and cooling solutions that are ready and are right for Africa, and we've moved them into Africa properly, and they've proved themselves. And we want to now look at Middle East and Europe, setting up offices there and strategically partnering there. And I want Africa to be selling into those spaces, not the other way around. I mean, our continent's poor, and there's no reason we can't use our continent and bring money into our continent for smart things we do, not the other. We shouldn't be like diluting our continent. We should be using the resources and smart people and smart things and coming up with good ideas and getting business in Europe, in the Middle East, for example. And that's our strategically, I think, one of our next moves to start getting into that space a little bit.
Yeah, when you look at that 25 years and your background, it's an incredible track record, Menno. When you look towards the future, what kind of emerging trends, and you've been in this business for a long time, and you've seen some interesting things in the 25 years, what emerging trends do you see as important for the industries in which you operate? Where do you see it all going?
So, I mean, the 25 years is a tribute to a lot of the people in our business and a lot of hard work, and our teams have been phenomenal in what they do. And you need to reinvent yourself all the time and be on the edge. And data centers and power systems, like everybody's talking about power, everybody's talking about data centers. The new word AI, like you said earlier, previously there was some form of AI or some algorithm technology to manage things, etc., etc. And it's just becoming with the NVIDIA type solutions and the type of kit now that can do generative AI and all this type of thing. They're very power intensive. So cooling systems are changing quite a in the data center market specifically. People are looking at direct-to-chip cooling, which is not new. That stuff's been around forever, but just to make it resilient and more efficient in different environments, power systems to be able to the reliability and resilience is always going to be a big need in these environments, and to keep systems designed. We're part of the Uptime group and work with them quite a bit in it, and we've got a whole lot of engineers that do work with them, and those type of solutions. We're working with the multinationals all the time, and ensuring that we are on the edge with them, and we've got our own DC, for example, that we use to do lots of testing in, and we've got some clients there that are on the cutting edge side. So it's nice being part of those solutions, and the big power requirements that are coming up now are, it's incredible, the loads that are coming from these 100 kilowatt rack, for example, and there's a whole lot of racks, and you can't do that with normal air. So a direct to chip is, I see a big sort of way forward with that, and when we get it, we're not here with it completely. The big places in the States and Europe where it's there, but it is coming here, and to be ready for it, and to be one of the partners that lead our market. We definitely need to be there and are there in developing those sort of requirements.
Wow, what an incredibly inspirational story, and what an incredible 25 years you've had at Master Power Technologies. And it sounds to me like the future is looking very bright ahead. You guys have a real deep understanding of not only data centers, but how they operate, and the knowledge and the learnings from the continent itself, and applying that on a global scale is very, very exciting. Menno Parsons, the founder and CEO of Master Power Technologies, thank you so much for joining us on What's Next and sharing your story, and wishing you all the success in the years to come. You guys are an inspiration to many organizations across the continent.
Well, thank you, Aki. I know it's a great group of people, and it's nice to be in Africa, and to do this is a privilege, and hopefully you come and visit us one day.
It'll be absolutely an honor. Thank you, sir.